Well, good morning. I haven't been to bed, or I've been to bed, but I didn't sleep yet. I've already been to the gym for an hour exercising, and I'm back here. I'm going to record the video and hopefully sleep after I'm done recording this. The title of this talk today, for the 29th of December, is Judge John C. Murphy was my judge. Quote, the Florida Supreme Court has fired a Brevard County judge for appalling behavior after he infamously threatened and then got into a physical altercation with a public defender outside the courtroom, all of which was caught on video, end quote. Read the whole story here and I provide the link. This is the guy who worked for the law firm that colluded with Dr. Mary's retired banker and his wife to steal her property. He then became a judge, and I had to go before him after being assaulted and arrested without a warrant in my own house for driving without a Florida license. Do you understand that I was home and my car was in the garage? I had an international driving permit. He threatened to make a pleading according to his choices or get taken to jail. Brings back not so nice memories. And I actually pulled the file. And I filed immediately after they took me to jail and made me sign a bunch of papers. I wrote, comes now, notice of cancellation, comes now Ronald T. Van Dyke, a natural man, by special invitation and not appearing generally before this court, serving notice that any and all documents, papers, forms, etc., electronic or hard copy, signed by me on Sunday, May 27th, 2012, was signed under duress of threat of further physical harm or prolonged incarceration. Contracts made under duress are not enforceable, as if they never existed. They are void. This is a formal and lawful notice of cancellation within 3 business days, as required by law. And there were all sorts of things. They didn't read me when they arrested me, they didn't read me my rights. They didn't do anything according to the law. I didn't even know why I was being arrested. I mean, I was attacked in my own house. My arm was twisted behind my back in a hammerlock, and it hurt for, as I think I said in a previous video, for some time after that. But this is the guy, and it's on the NBC News website, and somebody sent it to me. And I was glad that they did. But the whole fiasco with the courts is crazy. I mean, the courts do, the judges, many of them do what they want. In my particular case and regarding my home, they've used so many judges it's not funny. I mean, one judge after another. And the judge that signed the order for them to take my house, that's all he did. And then it went back to a judge that had handled some things previously. But all they did is they got him to sign an unlawful order taking my home. And this is the kind of stuff that I've been putting up with. And some people say, let it go, Ron, let it go. Don't worry about it. Don't keep fighting the battle. Just let it go. And a lot of people just let their homes go. Again, this home was a church. This home had meetings in it every week up until my daughter and her family moved in with me, in which case I had to stop having meetings here. The chairs are now back in that room that I used to meet in. Of course, I haven't had any meetings here. I tried to have a meeting in a church, but they wanted me to promise that I wouldn't talk about politics. And politics is a problem in the whole world. Until the political situations are fixed, you will not have peace on earth. Because you've got criminals running governments, criminals in the courthouses, criminals in the police stations, criminals all over the place. This is the kind of world that we're dealing with. And ever since I was a little kid, I believed I was here to help bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. Whatever that meant, it meant something different to me as I was growing up than it does now. Then I saw it as a Christian thing. Now I see it that Christianity is just another one of the things that's been twisted and torn out of shape. Not that there's not truth in Christianity. I'm not saying that. But it's been twisted out of shape as if it's the only true religion. And it pits it enmity with all other religions instead of just loving your neighbor, whether your neighbor is a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Jew or a whatever, even whatever Christian religion they may be. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're to love our neighbor, and our neighbor is whoever we come in contact with. And because that primary principle rule that is in all of those religions have something similar to loving your neighbor. All of them do. You know, even Shintoism and all of the little smaller religions, they all have something that talks about loving your neighbor, because that's a basic core principle. But religions have not done that. And courts, like Judge Murphy, has not even operated according to law. I mean, I saw it with him. You will do what I tell you or I will put you in jail. You know, you have this choice or this choice. Choose one of them. Plead guilty or plead not guilty. I didn't want to plead at all. I didn't want to make a plea because I was there, in my opinion, under false pretenses, and they took 2 months after the event happened. One of my rights is a speedy trial. They not only didn't give me a warrant, they didn't have a warrant when they arrested me, they didn't grant me a speedy trial. It took 2 months before the case was heard before the court. 2 months. These things, folks, are wrong. They are wrong according to the law in the United States. And yet, this is the way the courts operate. They operate with impunity. The judges, I make the law. I do what I want in my courtroom. And that's the attitude of so many judges. They think that they're autonomous. They think that they have the right to not just sit and be a judge, but a judge and an executioner and a prosecutor and everything else. They take on all the roles. At least Judge Murphy did, and I'm sure he's not the only one. But it's interesting that he was the one that, I don't know if Dr. Mary ever had dealings with him personally, but his office was right across in the same building as the attorney that, as I said, created the papers for the banker and his wife to take Dr. Mary's home. And of course, she found another a nice Jewish attorney who helped her straighten out that mess, and she ended up having a trust made and a will, which went to my attorney friend that's helping me, but she ended up in the hospital yesterday, so I couldn't reach her all day. Her daughter contacted me at the end of the day and said she's home now, but she was in the hospital all day, and I was frantically trying to reach her and get her to respond, but she couldn't respond. She wasn't home. And so I lost a whole day of preparing the paperwork and stuff like that needs to be prepared before the end of the year and submitted into the court. And the court will close, if it's open at all on the 31st, it will probably have only limited hours. So these are the pressures that I'm dealing with. And you may not like it that I'm being so frank and so honest. By the way, my arm is much better. I was able to do the exercises today at the gym, not completely pain-free, but a lot better than it was yesterday, and I couldn't have even done it at all the day before. Yesterday I took 2 pain pills. Today I didn't take anything, and again, I haven't been to sleep since, God, way back in the early morning. So, I mean, I've been up for probably almost 24 hours without really getting any. I've laid down, but not slept. And folks, I'm tired, and I thank you for listening and bearing with me as I vent my frustration with the world that we live in, and I work really hard to try to bring changes that will benefit humanity and hold those accountable that have robbed us of our rights and robbed us of our dignity, really. I mean, in that courtroom, I was robbed of my dignity before this crazy judge, and now he's paying a price because he did it one too many times and this time got caught. Thank you for listening. Namaste.